This evening, we're talking about bypassing and how different ways that we bypass our healing on the journey. So what is bypassing? The actual definition of bypassing is to go past or around something. Now, the way we work as humans in terms of emotional healing is we have experiences, and in those experiences we experience distress, and in that distress, because it's not resolved in that emotionally, what we do is we have to find a way to keep ourselves safe emotionally. So if we are in a place where we're having that distress and we don't have that resolution, our survival mind kicks in. Our survival mind kicks in and creates a split in the consciousness. This is what falls in the definition of trauma. Now, to find out more about trauma, you can go watch my video on my YouTube channel titled What is Trauma? Now, I'm going to show you what I always show. If you think of the consciousness as like a river, and here's the river, and then there's a split in the river, and these splits are aspects. So we take an aspect on and we reject an aspect. We learn that we need to reject an aspect. That might mean because we have to reject that aspect to maintain connection with the people around us in that moment, or it might just be because the situation is too overwhelming and we reject that part of ourselves that feels those emotions. That is a way of keeping ourselves safe as well. Like I said, to understand more, go watch the video to get a little bit more in depth. Now, these aspects that are within us both have different needs, wants, and desires. And the aspect that we take on is the aspect that keeps us safe in that moment. And that aspect has specific behaviors, specific ways of being. Now, that would be essentially, let's say, and I'm simpling it down here. I'm trying to say as simple as possible. That would be like, let's say, the beginning part of a traumatic experience. The path of healing is to reintegrate by taking on the rejected aspect. What we do is we reject the aspect that isn't the one that's going to keep us safe in that moment. So if I was to heal, I need to take that aspect on again. And I would do that by feeling the emotion that that aspect is carrying. Now, we bypass the path of healing. That's what we bypass. And we can do this in many ways. We do this by distracting ourselves. We can binge watch TV. We can stay on social media. We can overwork or over-exercise. We could go shopping. We could always make sure that we're keeping ourselves busy. We could always go out and just try and socialize all the time to keep our minds off it. Or we could numb ourselves with any sort of drugs. It could be alcohol, it could be weed, it could be numbing ourselves by any drugs at all. Now, is bypassing wrong? What is wrong? What does wrong actually mean? Wrong is extremely subjective. One person's wrong is completely different to another person's wrong. Individually, a man could think this action or this behavior are wrong, whereas someone else would think that it's completely okay. We have cultures that have different beliefs regarding what is right or what is wrong. There are cultures in the world that dig up their loved ones every year on their birthday. They clothe them, they take pictures with them, and they put them back in the grave. A lot of other cultures and a lot of people around the world would see that as wrong, but they don't. So there is no definitive, factual end result of what is wrong. Now, in our childhood, we learn that certain behaviors are wrong. We learn that specific behaviors, a behavior in itself, is wrong. So this behavior is right, this behavior is wrong. We learn that because we still live in the emotional dark ages, and because the mainstream parenting technique of good behavior reward, bad behavior punishment is still the mainstream way of bringing our children up, we learn that if I behave like this, that's not good, and I'm being told it's wrong, and in the moment I get told it's wrong, I'm punished, I'm pushed away, and it's not good. It's not good, I'm not good. So that's my version of wrong. This is what I'm learning what wrong is. Now, our version of wrong is a bypass in itself. So what do I mean by this? The ego, what is the ego? The ego is a collection of all of the aspects that I've taken on to keep myself safe in the moments, in every single moment in my life that I had an experience that was distressful for me without having any resolution. So in every single moment I experienced this split, whatever aspect I took on, whether it was at any age or whatever, all of those aspects will have specific behaviors. Those behaviors keep me safe. All of those together is the ego. So now the behaviors that I have taken on are the learned behaviors of how to keep me safe. That behavior could be, don't look at that, in terms of don't look at what we need to look at to feel the emotion that's making you feel really bad. So I'm going to keep you safe by you not looking at this. We're just not going to look at that. We're not going to look at the wound. We don't need to look at it. And another one could be, don't feel the emotion. In fact, don't feel at all. I've learned to stop feeling altogether, and that's how I keep myself safe. It could be, I've learned to stop feeling because I got brought up in an environment where if I would feel an emotion, I was made to feel shame about it. I was called too sensitive. I was said that, oh, I'm just always too much and too needy, and I don't want to feel that shame. So an aspect's behavior that keeps me safe is by stopping me from feeling. So these are all behaviors of how to keep me safe. Now, if you'd like to understand more about the ego, again, I've got another video on YouTube called What is the Ego? You can go check that out. Now, the way we heal is we heal by bringing all the parts of the self in and reintegrating. And we do that by practicing self-love. Now, love itself, what is love? Love is to take on a part of yourself and to unconditionally accept. So if I love my child, it's because I've taken that human being on a part of myself. And by doing that, if I make a decision elsewhere that would hurt that person that I love, then it would hurt me, because I've taken that person on as a part of myself. Our aspects are exactly the same. We heal by taking on the aspect as a part of ourself, because currently we've been pushing them away in a way of keeping ourselves safe. So now I've become aware of a behavior that I have that is a bypassing behavior. I think that behavior is wrong. I don't like it. But because of my experiences I've had in my life, my version of wrong is punishment. It's pushing away. And my version of wrong is also, I learned that it's not good. Whatever that is, it's wrong. So it means wrong is not good. And by seeing all of these behaviors as wrong, I'm pushing these parts of myself away based on my version of wrong. And this is one of the biggest bypasses that we do without even knowing it. So my experiences caused me pain. All of these aspects that I've taken on that keep me safe have learnt somehow however it is, to stop that pain. So is it wrong to distract myself? Is it wrong to binge watch TV? Is it wrong to go on social media? Is it wrong to overwork, overexercise, go shopping, always keeping busy, always going out? Is it wrong to numb myself with weed or alcohol? It stops the pain. And if it stops the pain, is that really wrong? So I kind of challenge my own version of wrong. If I fall out of a tree and break my legs, I'm in pain. In that moment, I need to figure out how to stop the pain. So maybe I could have morphine. Now, morphine's not a long-term solution, but would it be wrong to have morphine? If I didn't know how else to heal the legs, but I knew that morphine stopped the pain, then would it be wrong to have morphine? So by changing my perspective of wrong, I can become intimate and bring those parts of myself in to become intimate, to be able to hear them, to be able to see them, to be able to understand them, to be able to feel them. And by doing that, I can learn more about that part of myself. And then from there, I can do what needs to be done. Now, one of the things that I always say, and it's quite understandably, it can seem quite extreme, but this is one of the reasons why I did this today. Because one of the things I always say is you're not doing anything wrong. And this is what I mean. It's a learnt behavior. A learnt behavior of some moment in your past and a behavior that has kept you safe. You're not doing anything wrong. Wrong is subjective. There is no universal, this is right, this is wrong. You're actually all here living a life with complete and utter free will. You're not doing anything wrong. But I understand that. But I don't want to have these behaviors. And that's okay. The way we achieve this is by understanding that they are not wrong. Because our default version of wrong pushes them away. It's like, I don't want that. I don't want that here. If I had a child with me and that child was trying to get my attention and crying or something, and I deemed that to be wrong, I'd be like, no, go away, push him away. And that child would be gripping at me more. That's what the inner children in us is doing. And because these aspects have learnt that they have to keep us safe like this, we see them as wrong and we push them away. So by seeing them, by becoming intimate with them, we take them on, we accept them, we take them on as a part of ourselves, to understand them, to find out where they came from, to feel them, and then understand what unmet needs they have and start to meet those needs ourselves. That is how we change the behavior. We have been brought up being taught to be disciplined by being pushed away. The mainstream parenting style of disciplining a child is by pushing them away, retracting love to make their behaviors change. That is what our programming says to us. And if I see that I have a behavior that I deem to be wrong, I'm going to approach it the same way because I want it to change. But that's not going to work. It will not work by pushing that part of me away. So the way that I get around being able to do that is by redefining what I mean by what is wrong, my definition of wrong.